Over the past few years of owning my 2012 Jeep Wrangler, I have done just about every single modification that you can to it. This includes brand new axles, a long arm suspension, supercharger, and even 40-inch tires. Everything on the outside is completely built and ready to take on the toughest terrain the East Coast has to offer. I haven't touched the interior because I wasn't sure what direction I wanted to go. That was until I discovered the brand new Corbeau Trailcat seat. The Corbeau seat is perfect for me as I do daily drive my Jeep. However, I want to be able to tackle some of the hardest trails on this side of the country. Now today on CJ Off-Road, I'm going to be showing you an in-depth installation and review of the brand new Corbeau Trailcat seat. So while my seats have fared pretty well over the past 70,000 or so hard miles, I did have a set of seat covers on them so that protected them from any terrible damage or something like that from mud. But you can see with them, the bolsters that I was mentioning on the Corbeau seats are much lower than these. These are completely broken. You can see they move freely around. You can feel a nice line down there for me getting in and out of this lifted Jeep. I'm a shorter guy, so hopping in and out of here, it's a little bit tricky sometimes, and that really wears down on this section. So I'm excited that the Corbeau Trailcat has addressed that feature, as well as giving you a more slick and sleek looking seat inside of your Jeep Wrangler. So it's time to ditch these. They've done their purpose for the past 7 years now. Time to replace them with a brand new Corbeau Trailcat. First thing that you need to do to remove the factory seats is pop off two plastic covers. They're on the front two sections of your seat. Now I'm gonna use a small flathead screwdriver. There's a little notch for an indentation, and they'll just pop nice and smoothly right out. To expose the bolt which holds on the seat. Now I want to do this over here as well. These are going to take an 18mm ratchet and socket to get these off. So I'm going to go ahead and grab that now, pull these two off, and then work on the rear. We've got an 18mm deep socket here on a 1/2-inch ratchet. That'll give us the leverage we need to break these free. If yours are more rusty than this, use some penetrating lubricant to get inside there and loosen them up. You don't want that to snap off on the floor. Now let's move on to this second one. Now with those two out, we can move on to the rear. Same with back here, pop off the cover on the top. Then it gets an 18mm socket to get on that one as well. Now time to remove the last bolt. Last thing to do before you pull out your seat is to disconnect any wiring connections on the bottom. I have one plug which I'm going to depress on this side, pull it right out. Now we can get the seat out of here. All right guys, so this is the first time in 7 years that this seat has been moved in or out of the vehicle. Pretty excited to ditch this seat and get something in its place. It's going to look a whole heck of a lot better. So let's get it pulled out. After you remove the seat, there's going to be some dirt and some junk underneath. I found a pencil and I think it'll look like a corroded dime. Take the time right now, you're not going to have access to this again. Clean it up, make it look nice, and then we're going to throw our new seat brackets in place. So you guys might be wondering, how are we going to mount these Corbeau seats where the factory JK goes? Do you use your factory brackets? What are the options for you? Well, Corbeau has already thought of everything that you need to mount this up inside your JK or basically any other vehicle. If you go on cjponyparts.com, you can find all the available seat brackets. These are going to fit 07 through 18 JK, and even the brand new JL, there are separate brackets for that. So for our application, they sent us a set of the 2011 plus seat brackets. Now you notice in the Jeep, that's when they updated the interior design as well as the seats. So these are what they send you. They come with a durable release here for this forward and back motion, as well as all the holes for your seat belts and everything that you need. Now the trick to doing these, Corbeau sends a nice instruction manual, is actually to slide the seat all the way forward, pull the bolts out of the bottom of the seat, and then we'll get those front two tightened down. Once those are on, we're going to slide it backwards, put those other two bolts down, and tighten them completely. Shouldn't be too hard of a process, and I've got to be honest with you guys, this is going a lot easier than I thought it would. I was kind of nervous to do seats, but Corbeau has made it easy once again. So in here you're going to notice a little bit of wiring as well. These are for the heated seats that I had Corbeau install at the factory. Now if you want to do this to your seats and you buy them without that, CJ's does offer the heated seat option. You can put all this in yourself. It's nice and simple, plus it gives you a great harness to wire them up. Besides that, the 4 bolts are right along the edge here, and they come with some Allen key bolts to use an 8mm socket to remove. We're going to use them and put on that factory bracket right now. Now what we're going to do is grab the bracket, put it on upside down like this into place. I'm going to hold it, and it's actually going to go in the top mounted hole. They're slotted. So we're going to put that bolt, just get it started in there, that way it catches. I'm going to grab another one, place it over on the other side. As with a lot of things we work on, we're going to get these snugged up but not completely tightened until we have the back 2 bolts installed. All right. To get these lower 2 bolts, what we're going to do is grab a hold of the seat adjuster and slide it forward so we have access to those. Push down on it. And after you have it slid forward, you can line up this one over here. I'm gonna get this one snugged up because we do have to do some adjustment up front there. Now just for reference, the rear of the seat is where you go through this single hole like this. You wanna make sure all of them are loose or else you won't get them to line up. And that's why it's very important to go back and forth. But since we have all 4 in, now I can properly tighten down these rear 2 because they're in a fixed location. And then up front where it's slotted, I'll get those tightened down as well. Okay guys, last thing we need to do on the driver's side is swap over the seatbelt from the factory. I'm gonna set that up on the table and get that done now. The driver's side seat is up on the table. Now to remove this latch for the seatbelt, you have to use a 16mm socket to get this pulled off here. It's pretty simple to do, so let's do that now. Just takes a little bit of torque, then you can unthread it by hand. And just pull it off of that retention pin and straight out through the top of the seat. Also, don't forget to unclip it from the bottom. All you have to do is reuse your factory bolt onto here, and they have actually slotted it. Get this tightened down with the same 16mm socket that you used before, and then you're good to go. Once you have everything bolted on, it's now time to transfer over the wiring from that seatbelt that you also just bolted on. Now, for the wiring, this is the plug that's going to be used, and then this one went into sort of a weird block underneath my seat at least. So this one won't have anything to go into, but this should fix the seatbelt dinging issue, so that just plugs right back in where you removed it, and that should be good to go. Now it's time to throw these in the Jeep. Now we're going to put the seat inside the Jeep. Okay. Line them up the front holes and get all the factory bolts reinstalled. Now I want to make sure I get at least like 3 or 4 threads on there, and then I'm going to go around and get the rest started too, and then get them all tightened up. Now we'll go to the back and get those started as well. Okay guys, that's a wrap. Everything's tightened down, the harness is connected. The only thing left to do is install this exact same seat on the other side, so I'm gonna get to it and show you guys what they look like. I'll be honest with you guys, the diamond stitching that is in this Corbeau Trailcat seat is absolutely gorgeous when you get it inside the Jeep, partnered up with all the other modifications I've made. Putting this next to the stock seat really puts it to shame as far as just overall design, the way it hugs you, and just the fact that it's a quality Corbeau seat. I'm actually really happy too with the Corbeau bracket that goes underneath. It opens it up, and I think that's actually going to be a nice place for me to store some of my off-road gear when I'm out on the trail, or put a flashlight, anything like that. It gives me more options, which I love in my Jeep. So now it's time to put the second seat in and give you guys the full reveal of how my Jeep looks with these brand new Trailcat seats. Well guys, that's a wrap. The Corbeau Trailcats are installed in my 2012 JK Wrangler. Overall, it probably took about an hour to install, guys. This is a crazy simple installation where Corbeau really includes everything that you need to get the job done. Now, sitting inside here, the feeling is absolutely incredible. It's really hugging my shoulders, which I like, and I think is gonna be great off-road. Instead of rattling around and banging my elbows all over the place with my passengers, this is gonna keep me nice and planted, especially when I add on a 4-point harness from Corbeau as well. Now, grabbing the steering wheel and just sitting here, it puts me in a really nice position. I was a little bit nervous because these seats are a little bit smaller than the factory seats as far as the cushion-wise underneath here, but it sits me up nicely so where I can see it just about at a middle range of that seat adjustment from the factory seat. So I'm sitting at a really comfortable position. This is gonna be great for if you're short or if you're tall. There's really a nice adjustability for you. You can slide this back and forth as well as fold it almost all the way front to let your passengers get in and out. Now I'm gonna take this thing outside, see how they feel on the road, but if you wanna check these out, be sure to find us on cjponyparts.com. We've got these brand new Trailcats as well as many other great seating options for your JK and JL Wrangler or just about any one of the rides that you drive. Be sure to check us out and I'll see you guys next time. Hope you enjoyed that video. To stay up to date on our CJ Off-Road videos, make sure to subscribe up top here, and for any other installs, make sure to click the link right above.